This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back. Astrology is amazing in that it's a science that can help you define you, where you are, where you came from, where you should be going. We're going to look at that today. We all have a story. Everything is a story. Go to pick up a coffee. There's a story in there, I'm telling you. But we have life stories, and we're going to get those better defined with something known as the cross of matter within astrology. This is what she does, but beautifully, she blends that with coaching to help you pilot your life forward with this information that comes from the cross of matter and so much more. Professional of the year she is, Nancy Volante is back with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Steve, and thanks for that introduction. I always appreciate it and always happy to be back.
I'm learning from you. That's where that comes from. I know very little about astrology, just picking up pointers and then putting the pieces together of how this
Yeah,
all works.
yeah,
And it's not that I'm buying into it or drinking the astrology Kool-Aid or
absolutely.
anything. It's
Yeah,
there. You can't
yeah,
dispute when a chart is done based on date of birth, place of birth, very minimal time, minimal information of what is revealed. And you proved it with my chart last time we got together and before that. It's there. Like I can't dispute it. It's
I
fact.
know. It is there, and it's been there for thousands of years, and that's what's so extraordinary to me.
Hmm.
It's not something that just popped up, but it's been there for a very long time because the universe, right? I always say this as we look up, we are part of a really big network of energy, stars, galaxy, planets. It's just extraordinary to me. So I love and really respect the ancientness of this science and of this art and how we keep on bringing it back. It's gone through many different stages. I think, from I can't remember the woman who did every week in the paper, the little blurbs, right? Can't remember her name.
Oh, you mean
Anyways,
the astrologer?
yeah. Do you remember?
Jeannie Dixon? Jean
Yeah.
Dixon?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
And
I got goosebumps. I don't
yeah,
even know where the hell I pulled that out of my mind.
that was really good.
Whew.
But it's like, and she was doing great things for people. People read that, whether they believed it or not. It was something, I want to read that because it has to do with me and my who I am, the sun sign,
It
right?
was
So
almost like you were addicted to Dixon, like you needed to, when papers were big,
yes,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
let me just take a look. It was almost like fear of missing out. And then you would look at
Exactly.
it and then apply it or, to current situation or then wonder if something was going to transpire based on it.
Yeah.
Um, that said,
Yeah.
can somebody work with you connected to coaching and ask you questions? Like, for example, Nancy, I'm working on a business deal right now. Is this the right time? Those kinds of things. Can they consult with you on that?
Yeah, and again, not prediction for me anyways, but I can do the energy of, oh yeah, you are moving in this direction.
Yeah.
This would be good for you to explore. The timing, everybody's timeline is different. So I stay away from that because when you start making your choices, I mean, it could come 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That I don't work with, but I do work with the energy of let's explore possibilities. And what do you think? What do you feel?
Hmm. Well,
You
even
know,
just more validation, whether
and
that
validation.
the business
Like,
deal should, maybe do it now, or maybe, you might want to double check certain things and maybe wait a little bit,
exactly.
things like that. It's not like you're not a fortune teller.
No, 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 no. But yeah, absolutely what you're saying. And that's what's beautiful about the chart. And that's when you bring the transits in, right? The what's going out outside of the birth chart and
Hmm.
how who's talking to you and that possibility is in your birth chart, but now let's say Uranus is talking to your midheaven, and it's about really changing careers and taking a risk. So that kind of stuff we would
Yep.
work. Yeah.
Amazing. So the cross of matter.
Cross of Matter, which is really, it's my favorite. I really love working because, the Cross of Matter. So we know that the astrology wheel is a wheel and it's divided into 12, pies. Uh, and pie slices, and then but the middle of that there is a cross from south to north, east to west. So that is the cross. That is the framework of your life story. It's the spinal column
Mm.
of your birth chart. So I'll give you a couple different ways to think about that, and it's where life gets real.
Wow. When you said the spine
Yeah.
of your that it came crystal clear,
Yeah,
of
so I
what
wanted
this
to
is.
do it in three different ways because everybody, takes in energy and words and auditory, however that is, because I think it's really important. And we can correlate this matter, this cross of matter, with the medicine wheel of the indigenous people all over the world. Pretty much every culture, indigenous culture, has some form of medicine wheel that they work with as far as meditation, some divination, way back when, and maybe now too, Aborigines, Native Americans, uh, Asian. It's amazing how deep this is. So, in fact, we have our own medicine wheel, each of us personally. And it's around, for me as an astrologer, my perspective and my opinion is the cross of matter. So, those points in your chart, Steve, are on the what's called the angular points. And those are cardinal. So, um, and let me just backtrack. They're cardinal, and I'll explain that. And those points, those cardinal points, which are, let me just add that, is Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Those are the four cardinal archetypes of these particular points, always. Now, those are always there. You might have different planets, when you're born there, but that energy is always there. And cardinal energy is initiating, initiating something, moving forward, innovation, visionary thoughts, and it's the beginning of those. So and these 4 points correlate with the seasons. Aries is spring, new beginning, new identity. Let's take in a fresh understanding of who we are. That's the first house. Then we go to the fourth house. It's an important house for you. That fourth house, which is Cancer. Okay, now we're into summer. So we've started to build something new. What's the foundation like? So that's always the foundation of the cross. Then we go to Libra, which is the west where the sun sets. How do we reflect on that? Libra, how do we come into collaboration and partnership with self and others? And then we go to the top of the chart where the sun rises, and that's the top of the chart. That is light, that is out into the public. And that is where our legacy lives, our profession, how we relate to society, what our reputation is. Okay, so those are the seasons. Now, if can I'll stop for a moment if you have
No,
any.
it's crystal clear. And you know what?
Okay, oh
It's
good.
amazing
Whew.
how all of those are so important. They
So
have
important.
an important part of our lives.
And you'll see, because that's what I mean about the spinal column and the framework and where life gets real. Because Aries, that first house, that's where our ascendant is. That is, again, the self, where we learn about the I am
Hmm.
at different points in our life. different, the season, whatever, however it's sparking you. Then we travel down to Cancer, the foundation, the home, the lineage, the roots, the family. How do we feel secure and safe within our own foundation that we've built and rebuilt over and over again, right? Because this is, it's always moving, it's never stagnant. And then we go to that seventh house, Libra, fall, where things start to release and go back to the earth, where we can come in and reflect about relationship, whether it's work, whether it's marriage, whether it's partnership, wherever that falls. And then we get to the top of the chart, which is Capricorn. Not in everybody's chart, but that's the point. Okay. I want to make that clear. Not in everybody's chart, but it's always that energy of the winter. What are our goals? How are we going to manifest this as we come back into spring again? What's the discipline?
Now, this doesn't necessarily mean these take place in those seasons, summer, winter, fall, all of that. Is it just
Always.
it's
When they
within?
change. Yeah. So those 4 points are always correlated with the seasons.
So autumn, we now would be looking at that. What would I
You
call
could,
that?
that is the descendant. I'm sorry. I meant so that would be the descendant when Libra is into fall. You might want to look what's going on in that part of my chart.
Hmm.
You know, for instance, can I use you for an example?
Go right ahead. It's not about me. This is just an example,
Okay, good. Yeah.
but I'm curious.
Like say for instance, I'm going to give what you have on your 4 points. Okay. You have Gemini, which is your rising sign, your ascendant. We've talked about that communication. So, that's always going to be there for you. But maybe in the springtime, it's like, okay, what's going on as far as that goes? That Aries energy. How is that tying into who I am as a Gemini, who I am as a person that likes to communicate?
So, what are you seeing for the fall? Can we look at that
Yeah.
specifically?
So you have Sagittarius because that's the polarity of Gemini is Sagittarius, and that's on your descendant. So, and then let's see, where do you have Libra? So you have Libra in the fourth house too. So, how am I going to travel? Am I going to work with diverse people or cultures? Do I have a new philosophy maybe that I'm trying to bring into myself and into my consciousness this fall?
Hmm.
So kind of stuff like that. That's how I would work.
So, I have to say this because it's there,
Please.
but I was told by an astrologer like 2 years ago ish, whatever. You said it though. They said that I am going to meet somebody from another culture and that
Yeah.
will be my soulmate.
Yeah.
Something I was not even expecting. They're going to show up and they will be from another culture. And you
Yeah.
just said that.
Yeah. Because you have Sagittarius. You don't have planets around there, but Sagittarius is on the cusp of the seventh house, which is your descendant, which is relationship,
Hmm.
which is about other cultures internationally.
I'm
That's the
just
what?
repeating what I was, and you're
Yeah.
saying it, and you had no idea, but that seed was planted a while ago, and I
Yeah.
always found it, oh, that's kind of interesting, and that was then, and but again, there's no timeline. Whatever happens happens when the
Yeah,
universe
there's
says
no
it
t
happens.
yeah. I mean, Sagittarius, I don't know what's in Sagittarius now, but yeah. Yeah, you'll kind of just be aware within yourself about, oh, other cultures, internationally, philosophy, how
Hmm.
interesting that
Hmm.
is for me. Other kinds of food, maybe.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of the human condition?
And I've traveled to Europe, everywhere in the Caribbean, just my thing. And
Yeah.
I've worked there as well. But I am fascinated by other cultures. Like I find it interesting,
Oh, yeah.
how they do what they do and all of that. But I've never really pushed it. So maybe this is reason 4. What about in the fall? section of the chart as you look at the cross of matter, business wise? What are you seeing, or how would you decipher it? Relate?
For you personally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You just look here for a second. Oh, well, so at the top of your chart, you have Pisces. And it's, last week I had said, so that polarity that runs from south to north, you have Pisces and Virgo. So that's the area of awareness, you know. That is the timeline of awareness, the axis of awareness. So and then the ascendant and descendant is the access of experience. So I'm going to go back to that in a second, what you asked, but I just wanted to orient because what this does, the access of experience and the access of awareness, it orients you to life, environment, consciousness, where I am. So it's like a compass. It orients you, and so for you, Pisces, and you have Jupiter conjunct that angle right on the midheaven, the MC. So, your work really has a lot of spirituality, a lot of artistic creativity, and understanding that there's something bigger than we are through inspiration that comes through.
And I want more people to know that.
I know you do.
I do.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And you have Jupiter in Pisces. So it's a really expansive. Jupiter is expansive. It's wisdom, it's the future. But it's the future that has a lot of it's about justice, it's about knowledge. It's very beautiful. And if you don't mind me adding,
Okay.
that you have also your Chiron in Pisces conjunct this whole area. It's very powerful, Steve, because what happens with you on this angle, on the cross of matter, is that your profession, your self-expression is not only healing others, Steve, but it's healing you.
1 billion%.
It's healing you. And that's beautiful. So it's individually and the collective. And that's a very giving person.
Well, I can
If
relate
I
to
was
it because if this
And
didn't resonate, I always believe you can spot a phony. I'm not going to stand here and say, "Well, Nancy, that sounds reasonable." No, you just said the cultural thing, and that was said to me in the past. And even I believe all of this, all of these modalities, all of these tools that are here to help move our lives forward and help us heal from things of the past and everything. That just dropped on my lap, and that's just what you said is exactly how it happened. How it happened.
Yeah, and it's really beautiful because at the bottom of this axis of awareness and consciousness in your cross of matter, south to north, without reading where your archetype is, but where the house is, and the Capricorn and Cancer, 10th house, fourth house. Okay. You'll always have that flavor of Capricorn on within Pisces in the 10th house. Do you know what I mean? Because it rules that all the time. So you're not a woo-woo person. This is about business. What you're doing is about business, you're disciplined, you come in, you do your work every day, but you're also expansive with that spirituality. And the key for you, if I was coaching you and this cross of matter, what we're talking about right now, is to stay disciplined, to stay humble, and to stay not with rose-colored glasses, but with clarity.
This is pretty amazing
It's
because
so amazing. I don't know. I took your chart out today,
no,
Steve.
but
Well, maybe.
you're saying words that resonate, and in my circles, in many different areas, in the past year, that has been my piloting word, clarity. We need clarity on this. We need clarity on that. It's not clear. Make it clear. That has been my word. You just said it.
And it's
Hmm.
really beautiful that you're sticking to that because sometimes, like that Pisces that sits at your MC, that angular point of the cross of matter, the top of your chart, is ruled by Pisces. I mean, you've might have been at times in your life, obviously we all have, that you didn't feel clarity because it's ruled by Neptune. And Neptune is like, out really transcendent, out in, the universe. It's a hard one to grasp. And what I so respect about what you do and how you do it is you've grasped it. I think, I believe, and I'm sure you've had I know with Chiron and Pisces conjunct all that, it hasn't been an easy road. You've had to work,
But I get it in
but
terms
you do
of
get it.
all of this. And if I don't understand it, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah,
And then that comes up. I had some thoughts earlier today about left brain, right brain. So I got a
yeah.
little more clarity on that, how they all work together.
Oh,
Um,
I like that. Can you tell me about that? I love that.
okay.
Left brain.
So the left is the logical side. The
Yeah,
right is the more spiritual, call it the subconscious is sitting in
yeah.
there. This is my understanding.
It's
But
true.
I always looked at this as the subconscious being the bad guy, you
I
know,
know. I hear you.
but it's not so true. The subconscious is just doing its job to protect you. And I'm dumbing this down, because I need to, but it's there to protect you. And it's why we're still here. The
Mm,
challenge is the left side, the logical side, gets in the way and hijacks it like the big gorilla. "Rawr, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. And doesn't let the beauty of the subconscious, the spiritual, the creation, the manifestation work the way it should. So you got to keep that left in check.
that is so beautiful. I really love that because with the subconscious, everything you said, and it's not dumbing it down at all, Steve.
I'm dumbing it down for me.
No, no, but that makes it really clear for the people that are listening, for the people that you work with, for the people I work with, because that's how I like to work. At some point, yeah, if we want to go out there and be out there, that's great. But first, you got to know from the ground up. So important these days as we're changing paradigms
Sure.
and energy. And that's the teaching of Neptune. Okay,
Hmm.
Neptune is saying Neptune rules Pisces. Oh, I can be really out there. I can be really elusive, The lower side of me would like to go undercurrent. And sometimes that comes up through the subconscious because that's where clarity comes from, right? It can't just come from nowhere. It's got to come from some kind of recipe that's been built, if you will. And then we change the recipe, right? And then
Hmm.
we transform it, like you just said. Keep the left brain in check, like chill out for a little bit. Let me think about this, and let the subconscious do its dance. It
But
will
I've
come
always
out.
I've always seen it in a negative way with the
Well,
subconscious
I did too at some point. Yeah,
where
I hear you.
things that happen in your childhood, we all had them, little tiny
Oh yeah.
things, big things, whatever. But
Oh yeah.
that holds you back. Call it those limiting beliefs that you have based on
Right.
those experiences. And then your subconscious, it doesn't know then and now. It's just holding on to that because I got to keep you safe over here. So I'm gonna, just keep that on your radar. And that's
Yeah.
why you're doing what you're doing. We don't have to do that. But the left side of your brain is allowing it to happen. It's the one that's got, oh my gosh, I think at the other side of my brain said this. Oh, well, I got to do some fear work here. Fear. We got to, worry, worry, worry.
Exactly.
It's more of keeping that left in check where, it's sort of filtering it and using that,
Mhm.
against you in some ways, I think,
Mhm.
you know?
The analogy is great, and I also what I heard you say is the subconscious could be protecting you.
Absolutely.
And
But
I love that because I think it's a positive thing. Because, say, for instance, somebody has such trauma, physical trauma in their life, maybe sexual trauma or something that is, you cannot deal with that at a young age, right? So it's protecting you. It's protecting you. Chiron is protecting you, protecting wherever it is in your chart.
yep.
But then you get to these places, okay, I'm ready. Like you said, let's let the left brain chill for a moment. I'm ready to see, I'm ready to feel, I'm ready to do. Those are three important things in coaching. I'm ready to see, I'm ready to feel, I'm ready to do. In
Mm,
my time where I'm supported, I'm validated.
mm. Feel is an important word. We need
Yeah,
to feel.
yeah.
And sometimes we try not to because we don't
Oh, yeah.
want to. And that's a
No.
whole other podcast. One
Yeah.
woo type question. The Akashic Records.
Yes.
Is that at all connected to the cross of matter?
I think so.
Hmm.
I think so. I think as far as the Akashic records, and there's some practitioners that will really dive in, right? Um, the Akashic records for me is looking at a chart and seeing, oh, where have they been in the past? And that would be Pluto that
Hmm.
you'd be looking at. And this is evolutionary astrology. So you'd be looking at Pluto. This is what I call the triangle. Now, we were talking about the cross of matter. This is like a triangle, even though it might not draw that sacred geometry in your chart. The triangle, Pluto, South Node, North Node. That's going to tell you a lot about what may be happening in the Akashic records as far as your past, where you need to let go and release from your comfort zone, South Node,
Mm-hmm.
as you want to grow towards that North Node of soul growth. And there might be a lot of fear there. You got to digest a lot of stuff. So to me, in the chart, that's the Akashic records.
Gotcha. I know a little bit deep here. If anybody doesn't know, you
Yeah.
Google Akashic Records.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Some,
Do that.
yeah.
And that could be a whole podcast right there, too.
Yes, it could. I didn't know if that was on your radar, how this applies to astrology.
Yeah, that is
Uh,
on my radar. I love that.
wow. We're out of time. I could keep going.
Oh my God.
I love what you,
Woo!
we're actually overtime. I love what you do and how you do it. It's fantastic.
Oh,
It's beautiful. And just the coaching connection. An astrologer is great. A coach is great. You put the two together. I don't think I know anybody that does what you do with the
oh.
two together. It's like super cool.
Thank you
Um,
so much. I'm learning as I go, and I'm learning a lot from you, and I enjoy every minute of it. And I
likewise.
want to say thank you for letting me speak about your chart. I really appreciate that.
I'm wide open here, and I feel even I validated what another astrologer said in terms of what
Thank
you said, and even the clarity word. It's not like you're a psychic. You just you're looking down
you.
and interpreting.
That's
Really
right.
cool. How do we find you, Nancy? I mean, you can work with anybody virtually anywhere.
Yeah, really. I love that. You could go to my website, thewhisperingsoul.net, and there's some buttons there, and you can read about me that says if you want to make an appointment, or you can email me at Nancy at thewhisperingsoul.net, or go to my Instagram, The Whispering Soul Astrology.
Thank you for your clarity.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Steve, for your clarity. Love it.
Love it. All right, we'll catch up soon. All right.
All right, we'll catch up
Thanks.
soon. You take care.
You too.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives. This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.